And then this other example is this Chinese lady that I know, older lady. She had to have some work done on her car. And she was asking me, where do you take your car? Because she had to take it to, and she took it to an Arab. And she goes, I think he's trying to cheat me. Where do you take your car? I said, well, I take my car actually up in Brighton, Bob's Tire, and religiously. And she goes, oh, are they white? And I'm like, yeah, they're white. She's like, oh, she was like, I wish I could take my car there. And I'm like, jeez.
A good person wouldn't go back in time to kill Hitler. They'd go back in time to help him get into art school. Look, I'm not a fan of cats, but I'll give him this. I've never once in my life ever seen a cat working for the police. What are you, retarded? What do you mean, am I educated? My GED's in the other room. You want me to go get it? All right, we are recording.
Right now?
Right now. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Chegeland. I believe this is going to be the first episode. My name is Matt Chege. I bought a bunch of cameras and hooked them up, and I don't know, going to try some stuff out. This is my friend Leah. How are you doing, Leah?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
It's like you're it's the same thing.
That's what I say every time.
I know, but what am I supposed to do with that? Where's that?
I'm doing pretty good, actually.
Elaborate.
I did some yard work today,
Sounds
landscaping.
lit.
No, it was pretty good. I got a lot to do. There's some big projects I'm working on. And next weekend's supposed to be awesome. 66, sunny.
Weather-wise?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm super sick of the winter. Every year it gets to be springtime, and it's like it seems like it's been winter for years, even though it's been a couple months.
I think we had it pretty easy this year, and I'll take it.
Yeah, so sorry about today.
That's okay.
Being late. So, like, I'm horrible at time management, right?
I can tell.
And part of it is because, like, I don't have a schedule at all. So, like, I'm working on this video, and I don't know. I started working on it at, like, 10 p.m. last night, and I assumed I was going to take 4 hours or whatever, but it just kept going. So I ended up going to sleep at...
What time did you go to sleep?
I don't remember.
Was it like 10 a.m.?
Maybe. Yeah, it was around 10, and it was like, fuck. And so I set my alarm for 2.
Okay.
Or no, set it for 1.
Yeah. We were supposed to start today at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
That's the story, and now it's 7:30.
Yes, now it's 7:30, yes.
And I did landscaping all morning, took a shower, did my hair, ready by...
Your hair looks good.
1:40.
It looks
looked
fun.
really good at 2:30 p.m. And then I continued my landscaping with my hair out.
So, yeah, we've recorded a couple of episodes. We're trying to, I don't know, practice, I guess. If you guys have any ideas, let us know. You want to see me do some wild shit? I was thinking about calling a maid service, and then, having fun with that.
Having a party with the maids?
Oh, well, that'd be fun too.
What do you mean calling a maid service?
But, like, call a maid service and make shit up and see what the reactions are. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh, spoilers.
Also, I've been getting real into Ted Kaczynski.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun guy. Watched a bunch of documentaries. Downloaded his, the first thing he wrote, whatever. People call it a manifesto, but I don't like that word. It gives it a negative connotation. But Ted Kaczynski is in a prison in Colorado, some supermax prison and got the address and everything. So I'm working on a letter.
Pen pals?
I'm working on a letter. I think it'd be fun to be pen pals with the legendary Unabomber, you know?
Well, then write a letter. Share it with us. Send it to him. Get the reply. Share it with us. It can be a whole public relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got some good ideas.
Maybe.
Unabomber.
It's really funny though, because it's like, what do you write? Like, first off, it's like somebody could be ill-intentioned or good-intentioned or do horrible things or do excellent things. But like when that somebody, no matter what they do, is like a genius.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's like, what do I, you know, it's almost like a, you know, what would an ant say to, you know, a dog?
Sure.
So that the dog would understand to be interested, you know? Yeah. So I don't know. I've been working on it. Got some ideas. I'm trying to figure out like different things to bring up. And Chris said I should like read his books.
Sure.
Which is a good idea. It's an excellent idea, but like I don't got that much time. You know, how long does it take to read a book? And the stuff I've read, like the manifesto or whatever, it's super interesting, but it reads like a mathematician wrote it.
Yeah.
You know?
And he probably doesn't have an audiobook. I don't think anybody would put that into an audiobook. He is the Unabomber. And he's in prison.
Yeah, maybe. Like lots of the books, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to search it. But like his books, it's like lots of his books that have come out after, you know, while he's been in prison, like they have like, it's like the publisher has like a little thing saying that like, yeah, like we don't endorse killing people or blah, 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 but we just feel like, you know, he's got some, you know, legitimate points to make and freedom of speech and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, so I'm working on that. The Stop Asian Hate thing going on, right? Mm-hmm. I'm down, right? Okay.
Why don't you tell the viewers, just in case they don't know what's going on with the Asian hate?
Oh, well.
People are murdering Asian people in the United States.
Are they?
I mean, is that what this is based on?
I mean, I'm sure some Asians get murdered. I don't know.
There was a shooter in a massage parlor that killed.
Yeah, no.
A bunch of Asian people.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. I thought that was maybe the spark that ignited.
No. The Stop Asian Hate has been going on for I don't know. It has to do. I think it got brought up by like the COVID virus, right?
Oh.
Kind of like, remember, you know, after 9/11, like there was a bunch of hate crimes against Arabs and shit.
Sure.
But it's just really interesting to me because it's like, first, hate, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like when hate is used as like a noun because it doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. Like hate speech, right? Or if somebody is racially prejudiced against somebody, it's referred to as hate speech, and I don't find that accurate at all.
Why?
Well, first off, hate is like an emotion, right? Mm-hmm. So it's an emotion, and people like Hitler or anybody who's prejudiced against a certain group of people, right? Mm-hmm. Hate doesn't have to be anywhere in the equation, the emotion of hate. Like lots of people dislike other groups because they believe irrational, illogical things. Mm-hmm. And then they jump to conclusions, and then they think, oh, we got to get rid of these people because of these things that I think, right?
I think hate's more fitting than phobic. You know, like people say like, oh, transphobic. Like someone who's transphobic has like a fear of trans people.
Right. And it doesn't seem accurate at all.
Right. Or homophobic or.
Yeah. Like somebody could like, you know, like religious people, right? Mm-hmm. If they think that being gay is a sin or something, and that spreading a sinful lifestyle is against God or whatever. It's like hate is nowhere in that line of thinking.
Well, I think it shouldn't be in that line of thinking. Just because something's different than what you believe, it doesn't mean you hate it.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't hate it. They have a set of beliefs that some are nonsensical and illogical, and you know, and then there's points, right? There's certain points, like it's like, all of them are arguable, but you know, kids being raised, you know, it's good to have a strong female figure and a strong male figure, right? I think lots of psychologists would probably agree with that.
Sure.
You know, not that two men couldn't raise a kid or two women couldn't raise a kid, but the whole hate thing, it's annoying to me because it's like stop Asian hate, and it's like if there's all kinds of people who like are racist against Asian people, they're not doing it because they hate it. Like they don't hate them. They think that they came here and they're spreading a virus. Hate has nothing to do with it. And there's lots of people who have been throughout history like cool, calm, and collected. And they think that this group of people needs to go.
Yeah.
And so hate doesn't even have anything to do with it.
I guess when it comes to like they need to die, like there has to, like you would assume hate's involved if murder's involved, you know. So it might be hyperbolic to call it hate speech or Asian hate, you know, that might be part of the hyperbole with it, but it's not like people want other people dead just because they are prejudiced or racist.
Some people might.
Some people might. So then I guess it's applicable if they want to have someone murdered, that it would be considered hate.
But I don't think that's hate because like I could think like I can't even think of an example, but let's say let's say somebody did something horrible to somebody I knew, right? Family member, whatever. And I wanted to exact vengeance on that person. Hate, the emotion of hate might be there, but it's not necessary.
Well, certainly anger.
Sure. But once again, it's an emotion. It has nothing to do with the line of thought that leads somebody to think that, like, yo, we got to get rid of these people, or, you know, I'm going to go punch that old Chinese lady in the face. Like,
well, I don't know.
You know?
I think that seems like hate. I don't know. Maybe I'm not getting it. That seems like hate. If you're going to go assault someone because of who you think they are, I would have to think that there's anger behind that, hatred behind that. Like, why else would you go inflict pain on someone else if it wasn't? You're not just singing in the rain and then bop someone on the side of the head. I mean, that's not how these things occur.
I'm singing, just singing. In the rain, doopy doo, doopy 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 doo, doopy 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 doo, doopy doopy doo.
Like someone's getting pumped. Oh, I hate that person. I'm gonna show them.
yes.
I mean, to me, that seems hateful.
Right, but you could make the argument that, like, you know, some white kid, like in middle school or something, some white kid bullying another white kid, is that hateful?
Oh, you're talking about a hate crime?
I'm just talking about the use of the word hate and how I think it's inappropriate most of the time.
I think
it's
been said before, but, you know, hate crime is just like, it's like redundant. If it's a crime already, it doesn't need to be a hate crime. It's already illegal if you're committing a crime, like a hate crime. There shouldn't be any difference between a regular crime. A crime is a crime. It's already a crime. It doesn't have to be a hate crime.
Right, yeah.
If you're assaulting someone, the assault is the crime.
Right, but you see what I'm saying? You can assault somebody. Does racial prejudice involved does that make it hate? Because you could assault somebody and you could be laughing and you could be laughing on PCP and be beating up somebody.
Yeah.
Because you think that they're an alien who's tracking your, movements for the government. Like, so hate is neither here nor there. It's simply you think some illogical shit.
Yeah.
Like you believe things that aren't real.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody that commits a crime doesn't ultimately hate the person that they're committing the crime against. You don't automatically hate them, but you're talking about a vengeful, retaliation that can be more hate inside of that type of event. But like committing a crime, a burglary, whatever.
But once again, it's an emotion.
Yeah.
So how do you quantify that?
You don't. I mean, I think that it's that's where you get into thought crime. Just because you had hate in your heart when you committed a crime or assaulted someone, just because you have hate in their heart and you think hateful thoughts, now you're getting into thought crime when it comes to hate crime. If you're walking down the street and you bump shoulders with someone a little too hard on accident, and the guy that you bump shoulders with is, let's say he's gay, and he's like, oh, he assaulted me because I'm gay. And now all of a sudden it's a hate crime. Thought crime. So I don't see how it's plausible, and I don't see how it's even a thing in other countries. Like I think in Canada there's some hate crime statute, and maybe even in England. I don't know.
So I don't know. I'm down with how do I stop Asian hate?
Well, silence is violence. So
that's another weird thing. Like I don't like. What am I supposed to do? I mean, is somebody trying to pass a law? What are people supposed like? I don't get the marching like the Black Lives Matter stuff. I get because they're like, yo, we need to end qualified immunity for cops. We need to defund the cops. If you call the cops because something that somebody with a gun doesn't need to show up at, why is somebody showing up with a gun? Why don't we get a counselor out or something like that? Yeah. I get that because there's things, there's motives and clear missions that are involved with it, right? So I get that. Stop Asian hate. I don't understand. People are walking down the street and they all got signs, stop Asian hate. What? Okay. All right. What are we doing?
Yeah.
How are we stopping the Asian hate?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to?
You just give a thumbs up.
I don't know,
as you walk by.
Am I supposed to be out there with them, holding a sign just like them? Mm-hmm. And if I don't, I'm not contributing. But what are we contributing to? Am I supposed to order more Chinese food?
I was just thinking, like, how can we help the Asians in our community? And it sounds racist to have it come back to the Chinese restaurant, but that's like the most well-known family in South Lyon is the people that own the Fortuna Inn, and it's my favorite place.
It's a good place.
It's my favorite.
So, yeah, and that's another thing. Like it's like we live in a small town, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know the racial makeup, but it's mostly white people, mm-hmm. right? So, I always find it really interesting when like people who live in an area like they did like somebody did it was like a Black Lives Matter thing last year, and it was like people were supposed to line up down Pontiac Trail, and it's like, okay, that's a nice sentiment, but what are we doing? Mm-hmm. What I mean,
showing solidarity.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's just a sentiment. It's an empty. It's all empty gestures. Mm-hmm. Unless you're trying to like affect some sort of actual change.
I don't know. People don't want to do anything more than just stand in solidarity. They don't want to put. They don't want to put the effort. Nothing. They don't want to put the effort forth that actually would. They don't want to take the time out of their busy schedule to actually go help Black people. You know, there's a lot of Black need. There's a lot of need from the black community in Southeast Michigan. Endless. And people don't want to take the time out of their busy schedule to actually go affect change in someone's life, in a black person's life, because black lives do matter.
They'd rather, all
They'd
right.
just stand on Pine Trail in South Lyon
And wave
with a
at cars
fist up.
going by?
With a fist up. Because then you don't have to do anything else.
All right, so you brought up the what was that? Atlanta? Where was that? The Robert
massage parlor?
Long. Yeah. So that was really interesting, I thought, because it was late at night. It was, I don't know, it was like midnight or 2 a.m. or something like that. And then I seen it, and I was like, oh, it's like, oh, COVID's over. Shootings are back. And it was framed as like a guy is killing, Asian hate got brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately, I mean, who knows? You know, when you think something, sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're right. But immediately, I thought it was like, yo, this isn't Asian hate, because these are massage parlors. This has to be some kind of sex shit, right?
Yeah.
But nobody else is making that a possibility, right?
Everybody's thinking it. Everybody's thinking that.
Well, that's what it ended up turning out to be. And like this guy, it's really funny because
I didn't think he hated them. I think he loved them too much. That's him?
Yeah, that's
No
it.
way.
Now what's funny about this is, like, he's wearing a hat.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say?
Matthews Archery.
He's such an archery fan. Why is he?
I know, take his bow
Why
in
is
there.
he using a gun?
Come on, that'd be sick.
but why is he going to? And then, like, this guy, all right, like, here's the thing.
We can make fun of him because he's a murderer.
Yeah, but like, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, I feel bad for the people who died, the women who died. But like, I feel bad for everybody. Like, when I look at this guy, I'm just like, this poor guy.
He doesn't look like a
up.
killer either. Doesn't look like a killer.
Well,
I mean, kind of.
No, not like.
If I was working at that massage parlor
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, this is a regular here, I'd be like, hey, I wouldn't think that he's going to come and kill us. I mean, based on no interaction at all. Maybe he gave them some interaction that would tell them
if
some
everything
clue.
being equal.
But it seemed like it was a surprise attack.
Well, and so it turns out that he's got it was like a weird sex thing, like it was like temptation and blah blah blah. So, but once again, it's like everybody just jumps to whatever the hot thing is.
Sure, racism.
Well,
white guy shooter.
Right. Yeah. And then right after that, it was that Colorado.
Yeah.
Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which.
Another white shooter.
Yeah. So it was funny because everybody was posting.
Yeah.
Friends of mine, right? Extremely liberal, and I don't mean liberal like I mean it's like it's whatever, whatever woke shit is going on, I'm with you guys no matter what. I'm not going to discuss nuance or anything like that. And it was hilarious because it was like I'm seeing these posts of like white men terrorists need to stop, and all white men are terrorists, and it's like what is happening, And it was funny because it's like the guy ends up being Syrian.
Right.
and he was born in Syria and he moved here, and I don't remember the motive in that.
I think he shot all white people, actually. I think that's what I heard.
Right, but all white men are terrorists.
Yeah.
And sometimes terrorists kill their own.
Right, but I think we determined he wasn't a white man, and he killed all white people. So is that not racist then? Is that not a hate crime? I don't know. According to some people's rules, but.
And it was funny because you still saw after like I try to keep up on shit, but even after it was known that he was Syrian, I believe he was. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. I think so.
People were still like they hadn't seen the updates, right? And they're still making these posts about like ridiculous, hyperbolic posts about white men and we need to stop white men, and it's like to me that's just is racist. If you're like I'm a white guy, I'm not gonna go shoot anybody. To assume that I might shoot somebody.
Well, when I was a
people?
kid, judging an individual by the collective was, I mean, not racist, but if you're talking about a certain race, that you're judging an individual by their collective race, that used to be called racist. And it used to be applied across the board. That's not the case anymore, at least according to woke culture.
And now here's a thing, disclaimer, like, yeah, white guys have killed lots of people, you know what I mean? But like, if you go throughout history, Mao killed lots of people.
Sure.
The Ottoman Empire killed lots of people. Yeah. All kinds of people kill people. So to say that like only white dudes are killers, or white dudes need to be stopped, it's like, yo, man, like, come on, man. Like, yo, did you see that bridge? Like, yeah, a white guy probably built that bridge. Like, is that, you don't like that bridge? Like,
yeah. And you know what's so funny too, because where I work, I run into a lot of different ethnicities, and over the years, I've been keeping tally of how many times I hear other ethnicities actually not flat out say it, but what they're getting at in so many times is saying how much they like white people. Like, I have a patient who's Arab.
Make it what, like, sincerely?
Yes, like they like to live amongst the white people.
Well, yeah, but
they like to have a white person as a neighbor.
They might just be saying that, though. No, they might just be saying that. It's like, yeah, hey, I like you guys. You guys are great.
I'm saying in a roundabout way. I've heard these collective stories that I'm like, oh, so you're saying you like the whites, huh? Because, like, for example, I have a patient who's Arab. One of the sister moved out to California, got married, started having kids, and I was like, oh, so-and-so. Little Muhammad is going into kindergarten this year, right? And she's like, oh, no, I'm going to homeschool. I'm like, you are? I'm like, she's in California, probably around the Bay Area or somewhere around there. And, but I don't know how much money they make. It's not like they're doctors. Was this
pre-COVID?
Yes.
Right.
And I said, oh, how come? And she goes, oh, there's too many Mexicans. There's too many Mexicans there. I don't want to school with them. I'm like, oh, okay. But I know that she and her brothers all went to school, public school with white kids in Ann Arbor, so that was one thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's an example of like.
And I was like, oh, that's racist. Like, you're just going to say that.
But that's an example of like. I mean, you could make the argument that that's racist, but you could also make the argument that like culturally, she's more, being from Ann Arbor, white people, whatever, it's like she's more culturally identifies with that group, and so she's not trying to be around this other group because that's what she identifies with, even though she's Arab.
Yeah, I mean, they're Muslim, they're strict, she wears a hijab, like, I was going to say something, but I'm not going to. And then this other example is this Chinese lady that I know, older lady. She had to have some work done on her car. And she was asking me, where do you take your car? Because she had to take it to, and she took it to an Arab. And she goes, I think he's trying to cheat me. Where do you take your car? I said, well, I take my car actually up in Brighton, Bob's Tire. And religiously. And she goes, oh, are they white? And I'm like, yeah, they're white. And she's like, oh, she was like, I wish I could take my car there. And I'm like, jeez, And then my other friend, my black friend, Keena, who I think you've met, we're driving together, and she's like, you drive like a white girl. I'm like, what does that mean? I said, what, polite? And she's like, yeah, polite. Because I'm like, oh, come on, go in, Oh,
Yeah.
hang on.
Polite and defensively.
So the feedback I'm getting from different ethnicities in my circle is that people don't hate the whites.
The whites.
What I'll tell you they don't like are like redneck Republicans. That's the like stigma. That's the part of the whites that, well, I guess liberals don't like, and people who aren't also conservative tend to judge, we'll say. They prejudge them.
Yeah.
And I can't really disagree. They're not wrong. I've hung out with them.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like, to me, I don't like, when it comes to white people, I don't like,
Wiggers.
I shouldn't say I don't like, but like, it's like, no, like, just like corporate, corny.
Yuppies.
Yeah, I guess what you call it. Is that term still valid?
I don't know. It's been a while
don't
since
know.
I've heard it, but that's what I picture.
But just like people, it's like, I don't know, people, I look at them or I talk to them or I hear them and it's like, I don't know, they're just white bread, boring.
Yeah, well, who cares?
Oh
There's
no,
a lot of
I'm
white
not saying
bread,
kill all the white men.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I'm
Okay,
just
good. I didn't think that you were saying
no,
that.
yeah, I don't.
Chill.
If you work in an office building, fuck you,
Right.
fuck you.
Right.
But yeah, so, yeah, and so the prejudice and racial bias or racism, whatever, it exists in all cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Like if let's say America, and that's another thing. Put a pin in that. America, you go to other parts of the world, and I haven't left. I haven't been across the pond, right? But my sister has. I know people who have, and the racism anywhere else is fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember. I think it was like Dubai or something, and it's like they got signs that say like no packies.
Yeah.
Like they just got a sign, no packies. Like, just like it's 1950 America,
Sure.
right? No coloreds. Like, and all kinds of racism goes on all over the world in all kinds of different shapes and forms.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole idea that like America is this bastion of racism, more so and greater than anywhere else in the world, is kind of odd to me. Like yeah, slavery was horrible. There's all kinds of history of racism in America, systemic and otherwise, right? But to act like it's like America is like everybody here is racist and it's horrible, we need to change everything, and it's like, dude, like, I don't know, man, go look around. It's some wild shit. Mm-hmm. And like you're saying, like Asians, like I love, to me as a white guy, my entire life, I always love to hear stuff that I wouldn't normally hear, right? Around, like, I like ethnic people. To me, it's interesting. I love people with accents. People without accents are boring to me. It's like you see those every day, you hear them, see them every day. So I always love.
How do you be without an accent? Because my cousins tell me I have an accent. They live up in Vermont. I think everybody has an accent. Just depends if it's different than
right,
yours.
Yeah. Okay, all right, but that's not okay. Put a pin in that. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Right, but I'm saying, like, what was I saying?
You like ethnic people.
Right. Oh, yeah, right. So you can hear, I love when you hear, like, let's say, for instance, it's like you go to, you're friends with an ethnic, right? And then they're with other people of their same group, and then you learn things and you hear things that you would have never heard or learned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I worked at a pizza shop, and it was owned by some Arabs, and it was I can't remember his name, but anyway, he'd always be like one guy who worked there. He was like my age, might have been a little bit younger, but he'd be like Chege, like I want to go, like let's go to Subway, and I'm like, why don't you just go to Subway? And he'd be like, dude, I don't want to go in there alone. Like, come on, man. Like, cause he's Arab and shit, and he's in South Lyon, and he wanted like a white person to go in there with him. I'm like, are you being serious? And I thought he was fucking with me, right? And
he wanted a chaperone.
Yeah, he wanted. I'm like, all right, bro. And then it was like that's where I first heard that white people smell like hot dogs.
I never heard that, probably because nobody says that to me. They don't want to hurt my feelings.
And like I'd make him a pizza, right? Or I'd have to make a pizza, right? And like I'd make it, and then I'd act like I didn't put any pepperonis or anything. I didn't put any pork in it, right? Yeah. But I'd act like I did, like I was acting like, oh yeah, it's a real good one. Mm-hmm. And then he'd get all pissed off, like, dude, did you fucking put fucking filthy ass pork in there? You know, like to me, I love that shit because it's out of the ordinary for me. Like at that time, you know, it's like most of the people I knew a couple Asians and a couple blacks, but most of the people around here are white, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like when you come across something different, to me, that's always fun.
I work with a number of ethnics, actually, and, you know, we have a blast. All we do is rip on each other racistly. Right, yeah,
but it's fun like that.
It's very fun.
Like racism is hilarious, like as long as everybody's having fun with it and and nobody has like ill intentions.
Right,
you know
right.
What I mean?
We were at just a quick anecdote. We were at like we all went out to dinner. My boss took us out to dinner. He's Pakistani. And we had another dentist working with us who was about my age, white guy, similar ethnicity between us. And so the doctor, my boss, is talking about a story how he went to, I don't think it was Dubai, I think he went to Jordan, and they got to go on a camel ride. And so he was talking about the person that was helping with the camel. He was like, you know, the guy that rides the camel, the guy that, and I'm like, camel jockey? He goes, yeah, camel jockey. And then keeps up with his story.
He was looking for a term, or he didn't want to say that?
No. This is my Pakistani boss trying to tell us a story about how he rode on a camel in Jordan.
Okay, right, yeah.
And, you know, he didn't know what to call him. And so I said, camel jockey? And so he's like, yeah, camel jockey. Well, the other white dentist looks at me as soon as I said that. He's like, I'm like, he said it. You know, so we have a lot of fun like that, especially because my boss didn't move here till he was like 20. So he doesn't know like second grade humor. So I love doing, I guess they're called dad jokes these days, but he thinks they're hilarious when I say stupid stuff. It makes for a good time.
Yeah, like I grew up in like Oak Park before my family moved out South Lyon, right? Mm-hmm. And so like I went to a Catholic school in Berkeley and went to the public school for like a year in Oak Park. And so like I don't know, like my whole life growing up is like I was always around, there was a mix of people around, you know? And then we moved out here, and it was weird because it's like, you know, there's you know, I don't remember how many people were in my high school class, you know, but it's like there's like 2 black guys, and there was like 2 Asians out of like, you know, 800, you know, and it was weird because like I've never seen until I moved out here. I never saw a white man driving a big pickup truck with like rebel flags on the back of it. Like,
Right.
I was just like, what is happening out here?
Yeah, me neither. I mean, we lived in Redford till I was 10. Then we moved to Milford, and that's pretty country. At least it was in 30 years ago. And I never listened to country music growing up. Like my mom never listened to country. We always listened to whatever was on the radio or like pop music or oldies and classic rock. And so when I moved out to Milford, I started making friends, and like they all listened to country music. And I had never heard "Achy Breaky Heart," and it was very popular when I moved out here. And the first question the girls on the playground, they're like, "Do you like Achy Breaky Heart?" And I'm like, "I don't know what that is." And they're like, "Oh, it's a song. You're gonna love it."
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Yeah,
you listen to it every day.
Okay. So that was a big culture shock for me, is getting into the Sticks.
Yeah. So, race. I don't know. South Lyon City Council is an amazing group of individuals who are experts at governance. They're highly dedicated servants of the local city checkbook.
Yeah. The public purse.
The public purse. They're incredible people. So we are going to check out this video.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can't hear you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For Kurtzwell, I think she may be having technical issues. Councilmember Kurtzwell, I know you can't hear me. You may want to try and exit the meeting and come back in. You are on mute, but you should be able to hear us.
Come on, press the buttons.
Yeah, we can hear her. She can't hear us, but okay. Hopefully she can.
What an angry Lincoln behind her.
She's obviously present.
Okay, now we have one.
Okay. At this time, we will open the floor for public comment.
Good evening, everybody. As we know, as many of you all know, anyone can be victimized regardless of a race, social, economic status. So we really appreciate communities such as South Lyon that continue to provide sexual assault and or intimate partner violence.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll move on to the discussion of downtown with Nate Mack.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. We were allocated a total of 27,549 greenhouses. We still have 27,549 greenhouses to give out. Initially, the restaurants said they wanted it, and then they came back and said, we don't want it. And they came back to me. And so now the restaurants said they wanted it. I'm reaching out. The restaurants came back and said, we don't want it. If they're interested in it, and if they're not, I'm gonna use crack. Very happy with 25% increase of crack usage. So
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll be sure to make sure that I'm ready to take that on. We'll move on to the police chief report and Chief Sobek.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to the Sergeant/Lieutenant Cindy Conrad, who provided all of our officers with sweats and fever and chill. Amongst the 7 of us fighting the chills and the sweats, and right now I got the sweats going on. So, but we're glad that we could get the Cindy Conrad. Just really fatigued, and all the officers, we were having chills, and then the sweats, and amongst the 7 of us.
So out of the 7,
amongst the 7 of us, you know, I personally woke up with the Cindy 7 of us, and everybody went back to work today, and like, fine, we all did.
thank you.
All of us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrific.
It is terrific.
Well, Chief, I, for one, want to thank you for sharing that information. Of course, you know I can't let February 22nd go by without mentioning the 45th or 41st anniversary of Taco Tuesday tomorrow. I will be very brief as well. I want to thank women.
I think that we deserve better tacos.
If you got some free time later at home, check out the ladies.
Taco Tuesdays. Head on over there, say hi to some
Women.
get some tacos. All right, that's all I had. Thank you.
With that and a long night, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move to adjourn.
Have a great
Second.
night, all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Wow.
That's super fun, right? Was that
That
enjoyable?
was good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so
I should have tuned in. I missed a lot.
you missed a lot. Oh, yeah.
Like within the Zoom meetings.
Oh, yeah, no, the Zoom meetings are always fun.
I bet.
This one seemed like really short. You know what I mean? It was only 3 minutes. Maybe they were just rushing through things, I would imagine.
I think so.
Usually they go on for hours and hours, and I was kind of disappointed though because councilman or council
Councilperson?
yeah, I don't
Kurtzwelly?
no, Richards. Now, Councilman Carl Richards.
Oh, Carl, yeah.
I don't think he has
A webcam.
a laptop. Yeah.
I have an extra one.
You have an extra laptop?
Yeah. Chris has like 4.
Wow. So when he's during these Zoom meetings, it's like he calls in, right?
Mm.
And I think it's really unfortunate. I think it would be a
I
lot
wanna
more
see his
fun.
face.
Yes, absolutely. I think maybe if you have an extra one, we can hook him up, or maybe we can raise some money and get Councilman Richards a laptop. That's assuming that he'd know how to use it.
Well, he knows how to dial up. He's on the phone. How's he on the phone with it?
He might be using a rotary landline, though.
You think he has no Wi-Fi?
I mean, he might not.
You don't think he has the internet?
I mean, I don't know. We'd have to find out. We're going to have to do some research on this one. I haven't completely thought this one
People
out.
don't know who Carl is, but if you knew Carl, you'd understand the questions that we're asking.
Yeah.
If you knew him like we know him.
Yeah. I don't want to. Yeah. If you knew him like we knew him.
Tune in. Stay tuned.
Tune in. You're gonna see him.
You're gonna see Carl.
All right. So I think we should wrap this up. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Bye Baby. Remember, if you need an abortion or you'd like to go to a ghost tour, make sure you drop by Bye Baby, Abortions and Ghost Tours, South Lyon, Michigan. Their commercial spot, I believe, is up on my YouTube page. If you want to check that out, it's a fabulous commercial, very, very classy. We here at Chegeland support abortions. The freedom for abortions, kind of messed up, I mean.
Ghost tours also. Don't forget the ghost tours.
Yeah, right. No, and that's why Bye Baby is the best abortion clinic, because they also have ghost tours of featuring the ghosts of past terminations.
You give a little, you get a little.
Exactly. It's the world we live in. It's a beautiful world. So
good company.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leah, what you got? Anything?
Yes, like and subscribe.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time.